Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2018 Founders Cup. It is moving day here in Akwesasne. There's a look at the Elora Mohawks, who look pretty much like they've wrapped up first place in Group A, facing Saskatchewan SWAT, who are quite the different story in that pool. My name is Mathieu alongside Pat Gregoire for JVI Sports Network's continuing coverage of the 2018 Founders Cup. Thank you to everybody who's watched. We hope you've recovered from last night. What a game last night between the Calgary Shamrocks and the Seneca War Chiefs, requiring extra time between those two teams. We're going to take a look at our players to watch today, starting with Talon Badaway of the Saskatchewan SWAT.
Yeah, Talon Badaway had a little bit of a breakout performance. You see him there wearing his Welland Generals jersey from the OJBLL. You see he was acquired for this Founders Cup. 4 goals and 1 assist in the second game. He didn't record a single point in that first contest, but he was a big X factor in that game against the Medicine Men. Mind you, they did not come out with a point. Tyrus Rahanic, one of the more exciting players to watch in this tournament. Another player that was added at the deadline for this Mohawks team. 5 assists in the first game. Sat out last game, trying to rest up some injuries that he was dealing with throughout the season, so he's all healthy and ready to go.
Trent Bray, Cam Anderson, your officials. Trent from the First Nations Lacrosse Association. Cam Anderson from BC, Calvin Roseberry will be the standby ref from Saskatchewan in the box. And we are excited for moving day here on day number 3 of the Founders Cup. 4 great matches. We start with the Elora Mohawks, who are getting quite the following on our broadcast, but I think our numbers may be a little bit down as the Elora fans starting to find their way to Akwesasne here for this matchup. We're seeing a lot more in the stands. We appreciate all the comments that are coming in on Twitter at JVI Video and here in the building as well. And we appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in here, 11 o'clock local time in Saskatchewan. Hope you're enjoying your breakfast. 9 o'clock out there at Mountain Time. Early save there, trying to see, I believe that's Eric Dirksen, who's, despite the record, had a very good tournament in net for Saskatchewan.
I thought both goalies actually have played really well. Zach Ludwig kept the score pretty close for a while in that Medicine Men game. Certainly not his fault the SWAT were unable to come out on top in that game.
There's the first shot out of the way for Dirksen. Trying to get a look here at the Elora goaltender. We saw Landon Kells yesterday go off hurt. And they were very secretive with us over who their goaltender was going to be here in this game. That does look like Kells, though. Is that correct?
It is Kells, big number 30 in between the pipes. So
you've seen more of Elora than I have. I've seen it through a tiny little screen over here, but
but great job doing the directing, producing.
Elora shot and going wide that time, and now breaking through a number of defenders before falling on his own is Jonah White. But again, Dirksen there to find it in the big stick, and Saskatchewan breaking away with another possession here. Matt Wist, our player to watch yesterday, a great tournament from him. First game against Manitoba, as Kells back to his knees to make sure there's no rebound there. Quick outlet pass to the front door, and Elora spreading the floor now. Quick transition, and it results in a goal. Initially, the shot went wide, and we've got a delayed penalty behind the play, however. So the officials are going to discuss here. Too many men against Elora, saying they moved early. Let's see if we can catch that here on our replay. 1, 2, 3.
2, 3. I don't know.
4.
There's 4 there.
Oh, boy. Must have been a late comer in behind. See if we can go back a little bit further here, maybe. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in shot right now. 1 by the crease, 2 by the crease. change is starting. Still lost one. There's one. One more steps out and could possibly be. We got to go back to live action, however.
This is our first chance to see Tyrus Britannic back on the power play. He's a great playmaker for this Elora team. I mean, they didn't miss him in their game yesterday, but I think as the medal games progress and we have those elimination matchups, he's going to be huge going forward.
Okay, so let's clarify. We were counting Elora players in our replay. It was too many men against Saskatchewan.
Yes.
And the initial shot that went wide
yep.
would have stopped the play, which is what the discussion was about.
Mm-hmm. So that's a good call by the officials there, too.
Got to get over the line here now, though, as Saskatchewan is killing that penalty. The minute 16 on it. And Saskatchewan with time to kill it off. If you're watching the Founders Cup for the first time, if you're an Ontario fan, the shot clock has turned off all tournament as the Saskatchewan player lost the ball and then was taken down. So even more time now. The Rag team is out, led by Mitchell Jeffroy.
I know the 30-second shot clock on the penalty kill is supposed to provide a little more offense, but with time rolling on the penalty kill, it hasn't, shut down the shortage of shorthanded goals. In that Medicine Men game alone, we saw 4 goals for the Mohawk team to score with a man down.
When Steven Stamp and I did the game yesterday, we were talking about a lot of people say that it slows down the game because, the John Grant Jr. play where he just stands there for 30 seconds and lets, or 2 minutes or whatever it is, and lets people whack on him. But we have seen a lot of Rag plays where the ball is moving, there is movement, there's contacts, there's hits, sort of like this right here as it's brought in by Taylin Badaway, our player to watch today. Easy to spot with the blue gloves, the lime green head on the stick. And we talked about the beautiful lettuce that flows out behind as well.
Yeah, no doubt. If Badaway's on the floor, you're going to recognize him. He does have a little bit of an awkward release when he shoots as well. So
shot clock should be running now. It does start an extra about 4 or 5 seconds here for Saskatchewan as they went back 5-on-5, and it was stalled. As Whistle take it up top, takes the shot as well. Looks like Kells thought it was going left, but able to recover in time to put the right arm on it and make the save. And then throw a brief pick as well. We've played 4 minutes here in our first game of day number 3. Final day of pool play here at the Founders Cup. The ones we're going to keep our eye on is Coquitlam, Calgary, Seneca, North Shore. A bouncer looked like it was going to come out. We got a crease violation.
Nice move by Rahanic, one of the many, I shouldn't say many, one of the 2 Brock Badgers on this team. Curtis Woodland the other, and I think you could probably argue he's been the best player of the tournament thus far.
Noah Lebar stepping up there, nearly the big hit, but recognized in time by the Saskatchewan player. They're going to collapse in on offense now as Curtis Pfeiffer accepts the flip pass, now sets a pick. Badaway taken down, looking for the loose ball. No interference call there, and shot from Geoffroy deflected wide by the stick of Blake Lewis, and him and his defensive line mates rushing off the floor to get back to counteract this Elora attack. Big rebound, dropping down in front for Curtis Woodland. He of the many points in this tournament as a dive chance goes wide from his back. Cole Spear recovers the rebound and gets the outlet pass. Great play there by Spear.
Yeah, Cole Spear, one of the top players on this team, led the Elora Mohawks in playoff scoring this year.
All the way around the world. This time from Spear. Sends it back for Brett Harrison, who takes a shot. That was just enough to reset the shot clock, and now Dean Seeley.
This has been a long possession for this defense of the SWAT. They got to be getting tired.
And a huge pick up high, another shot that goes wide, trying the jumping rebound. And the Woodland shot goes wide, not something we've said too many times here in the tournament, as he's been putting on a show and a quick giveaway here for Saskatchewan. Those tired legs for the SWAT team, forced to get it back out there quickly now, as there's about 6.5 gone in the first period.
Yeah, that's an absolutely costly turnover.
Well, we'll see how costly here, as the wide shot ends up bouncing off the back of the mesh. So the SWAT will pick it up, and you can already see Drayden Quinn slowing the pace.
It's a smart play. Got to give your defense a break here. Use this 30-second shot clock. Try to get a shot, get the rebound, and then get to work.
Badaway looked like he wanted to take it to the net. He now goes to Wist. Those two lefties have been providing much of the offense for Saskatchewan here in the tournament. As Elora brings it back in. Pick in front, now one to the far side as it's swung back out to Britannic. Britannic back to the left side and racing in. I believe that was Brett Harrison. His shot saved by Dirksen. Curtis Pfeiffer now for Saskatchewan. Lowering the shoulder is Badaway, and he goes straight through Kevin Hutchison. But then Badaway shot from the wrong side. Kells easily saves, and a two-man breakout for Elora back the other way. First one in on it is Mason Noble. He picks up, and we'll send it back up the boards. 12 minutes remain here in the period. Seeley stops just outside the fan. Big stutter step, fake pass down to the crease. The shot off the inside of the bar from Harrison. Bounces all the way back nearly to the advertising logos. But the Mohawks pick up, and the bouncer wide off the end boards. Takes a couple hops down to Kells, who vacates the crease momentarily. So he can allow Britannic to pass it back into the offensive zone. Shot clock down to 5 in the middle. Looked like Woodland was about to go over the shoulder, and then he's taken down, and we get a brief, almost said scrum. It looked more like a tie-up.
It's a couple big bodies going head-to-head there with Preston Whitkey and, of course, Curtis Woodland.
Sidearm shot through traffic, and that's going to be a goal for Josh Rex.
Josh Rex, one of these depth righties for the Elora Mohawks during the postseason. Just 26 points for him. You'll see just a nice little sidearm shot that beats Dirksen down low. Just 7 goals, like I said, in that playoff run. So more of a depth piece. But in this tournament, I believe that's his 3rd goal.
The Mohawks playing the role of home team today on the bench on the far side. White jerseys, yellow buckets, golden buckets, some have said.
With the chrome cages, I like it. I dig the look. I really do.
Of course, black and green for Saskatchewan, going left to right here in the opening period. Badaway looks to the far side. He might have had a sidearm shot if he elected to take it, but goes to the cutter on the far side and hits the defender in the back. As Elora is trying to stretch the floor again, this transition game. Last night you guys were talking about the benches being on opposite sides here at the Onolago Arena in Akwesasne, but looks like Elora's figured it out quick time.
And I really contributed that to how good some of these coaches are. If not, I mean, all the coaches here at this tournament have figured out a way to either use that as your advantage or take it away for some of these faster teams as well.
And a tie-up in behind there. I think Zach Cameron and Geoffroy tangled after the Curtis Pfeiffer shot went wide. Shot clock violation against Saskatchewan, hands it to Elora, and they get a Jack Francis golden opportunity on the crease. But a nice save made there by Dirksen. It's recovered in the corner. And again, extended offensive pressure here for Elora. but an errant pass bounces in the stick of Dylan Lavoie. Lavoie chased to the half wall, where he'll be met by a double team. Clayton Holscher and Mason Noble in there, and Holscher the big hit. Pardon me, that's Noble the big hit, and Saskatchewan player has something to say about it, and an Elora teammate coming in. Chin strap is loose on the helmet of Matt Wist. So a pretty spicy set there for the two teams. Ends abruptly due to the chin strap violation.
Pretty remarkable. We only have one goal more than halfway through this first period. Not for a lack of chances. Both goalies been playing very strong.
It's been a pretty good defensive battle as well on both sides of the floor, as we're going to get a timeout here for a goalie water break with 8:40 left. I was wondering when that was going to come, as we were pretty close to the halfway mark, or well over the halfway mark, I should say.
Nice job on the officials to recognize a good time to give these goalies a water break. This is probably the coolest that we've had the arena, I think, all week long, which, I mean, is not saying much because the Turtle Dome was a borderline oversized sauna at some points this week.
Yeah.
But it was a good flow to the game, recognizing that the game was moving along well. No need to give the water break, but now they do, and I think they picked a perfect time.
We'd like to thank some of our sponsors today, including Sullivan, the game day presenting sponsor for this game number one between Elora and Saskatchewan, helping us give free coverage of the 2018 Founders Cup to everybody across Canada and internationally here on the YouTube channel. So our thanks to Sullivan, the rest of the sponsors. A high deflection there. AJ Skirving getting his stick in the way of the Geoffroy shot. And Skirving tried to flip it. I think tried the one-hand pickup, and it rolled out the front of the stick and into the safety screening.
You know, these games are tough for both teams here. Obviously, the SWAT playing for some pride. They want to go into the Tier 2 round with some momentum. But Elora, I mean, they've already pretty much clinched first in their division. But at the same time, they want to continue to work on their progressions, not build any bad habits.
So tomorrow is the playoff day, as a spin move here from Woodland. Only 1 day of playoffs here. Normally we see crossover games and 2 days of playoffs before getting to medal day.
Yes.
However, as we see another low shot there from the Elora team. I believe it was Holscher that time, and another loose ball pickup. Absolutely smothering offense here from Elora in the first period, but the defense and Dirksen not showing any signs of it as of yet. But when we get to the playoff games tomorrow, as Badaway comes in and takes a low shot off the pads of Kells, he's all alone still as he faces a double team behind the net. Shovels it back up, and it was over the head of the intended target, as now the race is on. And way up high, a nice job by Drayden Quinn to control it for his team. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Quinn far side. He'll cut back. That's actually Dawson Garvey, pardon me. Badaway low shot. A riser that sneaks over top of the head. The arm.
That's
rather,
goal,
of Kells.
Goal number 5 on the tournament for Badaway. And I mentioned it already. You'll see right here, he gets the ball off this feed right here. Coming across, there it is. There, that's the one we were looking for. And Badaway, as I mentioned earlier, kind of a weird release on those underhand shots. He more pushes the ball, but goaltenders all tournament long have been having a hard time reading it.
So we're tied now, 1-1. Top 2 teams in each pool will make their way to play in the gold medal semifinals tomorrow. at 5 and 8 Eastern. The bottom 2 teams in each pool will be in the Tier 2 championship bracket. Those semifinal games at 11 and 2. The losers of the 11 and 2 o'clock games tomorrow are done. That's their tournament.
Yes.
As we only have 3 games on Saturday. Spin move, sidearm scores by Josh Rex.
What a breakout tournament this has been for Josh Rex. Mentioned it, a couple of goals in game number 1. And now another 2 spot for him. Beautiful spin move. Recognizes he has still some space to take it to the rack. And as soon as that slide comes, he throws that sidearm that's perfectly placed right on the hip of Eric Dirksen.
So 2-1 now for the Mohawks. 6 minutes left in the first period. Again, our first game of the day. A stumble there and getting up slowly. Mason Noble, who is a big factor in their defensive play. Gets to the bench slowly, but looks like he should be all right to continue, which is good news if you're an Elora fan. A couple of side steps there from the high man. I think that was Harrison again as the SWAT player taken down late. And it will be a penalty here.
Noah Labar. Oh, no, Curtis Woodland.
Yeah, Woodland. And we're going to see here on the replay, I think. Keep your eye in the corner as Woodland comes in late and then, yeah, cross check right in front of the official. And he'll go for the illegal cross check.
Saskatchewan will get to the power play. We saw them successful a few times against the Medicine Men.
And for Elora as well, one of the leading scorers. Not much he might do on a penalty kill situation, but Woodland right up there amongst the best that we've seen over the last 2 days. In the box for at least 2 minutes. Or pardon me, at most 2 minutes. 5 minutes left in the period. As Dirksen, nearly rolled out. There was an Elora player right on the crease looking for a rebound that never came out. Minute 20.
Now we'll see Badaway back on the floor. He's getting a rest. And him and Wist have had some good chemistry, even though they just met each other just a few days ago.
Yeah, a couple of our intermission interviews, players have talked about the chemistry factor. Guys just joining the team. Big fake from the far shooter spot, back up top. They go to Garvey. Nice block though by Lewis on the shot for Elora. Badaway has to play it off the glass. Back up top for Garvey, his shot. Save made by Kells, reset. As it comes back up top, Wist puts a little hitch right at the end of the shot. And that's enough to fool Kells and tie this one back up as the SWAT score on the power play.
This is a beautiful shot from Matty Wist. You'll see here great ball movement, and as much as a great shot this is here from Wist, just kind of almost throws that twister like you mentioned with the hitch, but no rotation there from the Elora penalty kill. I don't know if they're taught just to hold their shape the entire time and not rotate, but the top kind of got messed up there and we didn't see a slide up from the crease, so that gave enough time and space for Wist to, unload that twister.
Well, and the big man down low tried to duck out of the way, but that's a lot of body to get out of the way. And not sure how much that factored in, but definitely a beautiful hitch at the end of the shot as we get a holding call here. It's coming to Saskatchewan, I believe.
Just as Saskatchewan was starting to build some momentum, it gets taken right out of their hands by that holding penalty here. And as we've mentioned so many times on this broadcast here on JVI Sports Network, Elora, just too much firepower up front to be handing over power plays.
Britannic to his right. Back for Seeley here. Shot saved by Dirksen. Rebound rolls into the corner. Actually rolls out of play. As it's back up top for Cole Spear. Spear and Woodland playing catch. Now top spot taken by Britannic, and the shot, Dirksen makes the save as it comes from the left side. Up top, Spear's shot. Doesn't quite get through. Elora still controls. Spear again drops low, and another one that ends up sailing wide. 15 on the shot clock. Saskatchewan trying to get it, almost pushed ahead. But now Elora recovers, and the shot comes from Britannic, and Dirksen there to bail out the defense one more time.
I mentioned it once, I'll say it again. Both these goaltenders, Dirksen and Ludwig, have been so huge for the Saskatchewan team here at the Founders. I know it's not the results that they've been looking for, but we've seen some solid saves from both keepers.
Some of our guests we've had in on commentary, forget if it was Ron or Darius, who said, if you can find a goaltender and get him hot here in this tournament, goaltending is just so huge. You obviously need good defense and some firepower up front, but the coming out parties we normally see and the ones we remember are the goaltenders who just have incredible tournaments that sort of come out of nowhere. Double team coming here in the corner as Jack Dunn faces a couple Mohawks players. 12 seconds left in the Saskatchewan penalty. As a brief tie-up along the boards, that's broken up by the official. And Elora, nothing doing on that power play as the bench penalty box door opens. And we talked about the bench being a long way for the visiting team away from that penalty box. So the penalized player stays on the floor just as the ball arrived. And now a shot coming through. Does not get there as it hits the back of the defender. And that will be Saskatchewan ball on the shot clock violation.
Matt, I know you mentioned that we're starting to get a lot more Mohawk fans here in Akwesasne, but still lots of chatter going on our YouTube page from these Hawks fans. So we do appreciate you guys joining the conversation, whether it be on Twitter or in the comment section.
A rip of a shot there, Kells. What did that hit as it bounced in the corner? There were a couple players in front.
It has hit a Sask player, I believe.
I was going to say, must have been one of them. There was no reset. As now the rebound rolls right up in front of the Saskatchewan bench. Everyone kind of let up, assuming the shot clock was going to go, but Skirving takes it to the net. What a save from Dirksen. Oh my, lifting the left foot out to deny Elora here in the final 30 seconds of period number one. That could be the best one yet.
And we have had a fair share of beauties.
All the way up top. Hopping into the shot was Britannic, and the high defender ate it off the midsection. That was Uzakapi. You can tell by the bright orange sneakers.
Yeah, Uzakapi's a gritty defender. He's blocked tons of shots here in this tournament, and I think we're getting a timeout. Yep, we are, from Saskatchewan.
That'll give us a chance, if we can, to look at this save one more time, because this was a thing of beauty from Dirksen. On the rush. Started here by Elora as they come in. Watch the first shot. It's going to be turned back. This is Skirving with it. First one, big juicy rebound, and here it comes.
Oh, unbelievable.
Kick save and a beauty.
No doubt about that. Dirksen's a big boy, but for a bigger goalie, he moves great. The athleticism to be able to kick that leg back, make that save, wow.
Here it is one more time. Big rebound, which is something he hasn't done a lot either, but right in front of the line as well. My goodness.
An absolute game saver. I mean, the difference between going in to the room after the first period being down 3-2. You're still probably the morale's high, but now you're 2-2 with 9.6 seconds left to potentially take the lead here.
Chance to take the lead after one. Well, you said it, Pat. The talk coming in was all about Elora, some Seneca mixed in there coming out of Group B, and we've seen a lot of shuffle. That Group B is an absolute mess, as we'll talk about the standings later on, especially throughout the day, as we could have multiple tie-breaking situations.
Get your calculators ready.
Tonight's matchup at 8 p.m. as we get the final 1.6. They try to go to the cutter, and the pass is errant, but multiple tie-breaking situations, potentially goal by goal even in that 8 p.m. game, as one goal one way or the other could swing any one of, I believe it's the Medicine Men or Manitoba coming out of Group A, and Calgary, that overtime win last night messed things up between them, Coquitlam, and Seneca. I know Coquitlam coaching staff wanted to know right away what's the tiebreaker, what do we have to win by, and what do we have to do. But I think Steven Stamp is down on the floor, and he'll be joined by, who's he got? Drayden Quinn, I think.
I'm on the floor with Dryden Quinn, and pretty exciting game. I mean, coming in, Ontario's won all but 6 of the Founders Cups ever held. Elora has established themselves as favorites, but outside of your room, I think everyone figures Elora's going to win this game, but you guys are playing like that just doesn't matter, and you're just believing in yourselves.
Yeah, no, I think we came into the game expecting a loss, and then as soon as we started firing on all cylinders, I think that's when we started working things out and, you know, catching up to these guys, so that's why the score is what it is, I think.
It looks like you're playing with a lot of confidence in this period. How do you maintain that going forward for 40 more minutes?
You know, just staying on the floor, staying ready. You know, don't take too many mental breaks because then you get yourself out of the game. And I think that's really the key to this game is keeping mentally sound instead of physically, because I feel like the physical aspect of things are pretty well.
And I mean, it gets to be a bit of a long week. It's only your 3rd game, but I mean, it's day after day you're playing. You got another game tomorrow, and trying to set yourself up for a shot at 5th place, and really do the very best that you can in this tournament. How do you manage the physical side of it? You said, you know, the mental side is just keep going. The physical side you got to be careful of too.
Outside of the game, a lot of it's your aches and pains that, you know, you get some ice on it and then you move on. But inside the game, your adrenaline's going so much that you don't really feel those aches and pains as much. So I think that's really how you keep going.
Great first period. Congratulations. Thanks for your time, and good luck as you go forward. We'll be back with a bit of a break and then the second period of Elora and Saskatchewan.
Welcome back, folks, inside the Anolago Arena here in Akwesasne on Cornwall Island. We thought it would be a good opportunity to look at our standings here coming into the final day of pool play. And good luck, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. Pool A actually looks pretty easy because Elora should finish first.
Well, the thing, too, there is with 2 and 3, those two teams do play each other.
Exactly. Someone's going to finish 2-1. So if this record is 2-1, I mean, then you've got Medicine Men needing to win by probably 10, 8-10, somewhere in there, if Saskatchewan can pull this off.
Yes.
Here today, there's a lot of ifs involved in that scenario, however, but the big game obviously there is Manitoba and the Mohawk Medicine Men, which is our primetime match tonight. That is 8 p.m. I believe that's, 7 in Manitoba. And then Calgary, Seneca, Coquitlam, all with chances to move on. One of those teams is going to go home upset, I'm afraid. And Coquitlam looks like the worst out of that pair, with Seneca facing Quebec. 2 p.m. Alberta versus BC coming up right after this game. That's going to be the one to watch, I think.
Certainly is.
Because Calgary, with that overtime victory, what's the emotion dump going to be like after that last night? +8, Coquitlam sitting even. That Group B is going to be the one to watch, and it starts at 2 p.m. But right now, we are in Group A, the Elora Mohawks, the Saskatchewan SWAT. And Saskatchewan right now tied with Elora, sorry.
I was going to say, you got to assume Elora's going to come out firing. I wonder what the coaching staff said in the room. Do you go in there, rip them, or kind of tell them, all right, guys, wake up? Sometimes not saying anything at all, the guys know what they need to do.
Well, how much of it, too, is Elora knowing this should have been or could have been a walkover game, knowing they're playing tomorrow for a chance to play for gold in all likelihood? I mean, a lot of things are already wrapped up. I think in that case, the coaches do need to say, hey, let's not get into anything that we can't recover from tomorrow, because as much as Calgary might have an adrenaline dump, how much of it is, you know, it's still a marathon, but we're going to need to put the gas pedal down again at some point.
No doubt, and I said that. I think these teams have to come into these games regardless of what it means in the standings and put in a full 60 minutes of effort. You don't want to carry over any sort of bad habits, and if there's been a knock, let's get to this after here.
Somehow Saskatchewan manages to avoid the too many men penalty, but they can't avoid the go-ahead goal from Elora, and you can hear the fans that have made the trip.
It's a great way to spark your team after a slow start, getting a transition goal, a gritty, hard-nosed goal. We didn't see how it ended up here, but a smart play recognizing that Kevin Hutchison's on his wrong side, feeds that one off to Blake Lewis, who breaks this deadlock at 3-2.
The Elora draw man moving early here, so just as they take the lead. This is the thing we saw the opening game of the tournament, Pat. You and I did it when Saskatchewan faced Manitoba.
Yeah.
They don't go away.
No, they do not.
The record is 0-2, and the goal differential is not what you'd like to see from this team, but they hung with Manitoba the whole way in that first game, just unable to find any way to break it over the top. And Saskatchewan here just down by 1, but definitely a much more energized offense from Elora here in the second period. And as we say that, they put one in again.
Brett Harrison, nice to see him finally find the back of the cage. That first period, I want to say he had at least 3 or 4 quality takes. You'll see here, probably the best one we've seen, and smart play by him to recognize the defenders in traffic. But how about the man of the tournament, we'll call him so far, Curtis Woodland, setting that hard pick. That just shows you he's not just a goal scorer, not just a playmaker. He does all the little things, including free up space for other players on the floor.
Woodland has been putting on a show, including 10 points in their opening matchup on the first day of competition against the Medicine Men.
3 apples here today already.
Which that one was really the one that got Elora started here as they lead, or won that game rather, 16-8. How about the Medicine Men not winning, I think, not winning a game all season, or winning 2?
It was two games. 2
games all season long here on their home floor, competing for a national championship as the host team, pardon me. As the reset there goes off of Dirksen. Kells comes all the way nearly to the Saskatchewan bench as the SWAT worked a quick change in.
Not sure if the Elora Mohawks thought they were still in their hotel rooms, but they certainly arrived here at the Turtle Dome. This is the energy that we've seen from them the first 2 games of the tournament.
Shot off the foot, and it looks like Dean Seeley's the guy that's feeling it. Couple bodies in front. The twister there from Woodland had an opening 5-hole, but somehow it stays out. And with the reset, it looked like Dirksen got a piece. Still disagreeing over this rebound from that shot in front of the Saskatchewan bench. They make sure that the door's closed this time. We saw a scary incident yesterday. I believe it was Wist that went into the bench, was it?
It was Wist, but he wasn't the one who ended up getting injured. It was the play before we saw Spencer Stone, and he broke his collarbone in 3 places. The coaching staff for the Saskatchewan SWAT showed me the picture, and it does not look good.
So unfortunate for them. If you caught our very first game, you and I did, Pat, Manitoba, Saskatchewan back on Tuesday, as Kells makes the save there. We said they didn't have any subs coming into the tournament, as a shot there off the shoulder of Dirksen. Partial breakaway for Elora goes up and into the screening.
Smart play Skirving to get that possession shot. If you're going to take a shot, make sure at least it gets a piece of the body and goes out so your offense can get to work.
Big disagreement in front of the crease here as it eventually skips its way off the stick of Woodland into the body of Dirksen. And the long bomb pass again. Saskatchewan, it doesn't work, and their defense has to come back out on the floor. As we play now 4.5 here in the second period. 2-goal lead for Elora, all of them, those 2 to take them over the top rather, here in the second period. Another tie up here along the crease. Trent Bray, the official, and there's Dirksen waiting patiently for the whistle. And as he made the save, and it was about 6 seconds as everyone was worried about the brief scrum there.
Yeah, things are really starting to heat up in this SWAT end. They're starting to pick up the physicality around their crease.
Well, that's been the MO for Elora most of the way through the tournament, is those goals that have come through. Yeah. Looks like Kells, a late reaction there to that shot, but still managing to get to his right just a little to make the save. Rebound comes all the way back up top. And in saying that, I'm not sure any other team has really put bodies on Elora. So trying to make them uncomfortable here in the first game of the final day of round robin play here at the 2018 Founders Cup. At the Onolago Arena on Cornwall Island, the Turtle Dome, as it's more affectionately known. Long shot, goes low on Dirksen. And we're seeing a lot of this as well, little taps on the way out of plays as Woodland, another one there. We saw a cross-check penalty he took in the first period as the Saskatchewan player goes down, and it will be another cross-check. Yeah, along the boards.
Jack France is going to get an illegal cross-check here. Unfortunate break for them as the ball was turned over the other way.
See it here as the player goes down. Yeah, he was going for the hit, and the player sort of fell in front of him, and the cross-check ends up riding high up into the helmet. So Saskatchewan with a chance to get one back here. 14 minutes left in the second period. And it looks like Jack Francis heading off as you said, Pat, for that cross check. Bouncer through the crease, over on the far side. Didn't touch Kells, so 10 on the shot clock now. Top officials calling for a reset, and now counting it down. There was a count on the floor as the shot clock got to 5. The Elora player knocked down, and they call minor interference as well. And as they're trying to pick up the ball, the Elora player into the Saskatchewan man, and now the SWAT get it back. Oh, how many moves was that? Can't see the number as it's tucked under the kidney pads.
That's Aaron Gray Eyes. Oh.
Big hit into the boards as getting up slowly is Owen Ristov. Still going to stand over top of this loose ball, though. Arm is high, and there might be a penalty as a latecomer for Saskatchewan goes into Mason Noble. Ristov definitely not 100%.
Yeah, Badaway is going to sit down. I think they're only going to give him, it looked like the first indication was an illegal cross check or potential.
They might be talking about check from behind
Yeah,
here.
I think that's the discussion, and I think that might be actually the right call.
It definitely made a loud enough boom for a 4-minute penalty. I know that's not how it's supposed to be judged. The Badaway goes off. Trying to see if we can pick up Restov on the bench. And
based upon the reaction from the Elora player, they're the captain, Clayton Holscher, I'm going to assume it's only going to be a 2, just because as soon as they stopped talking, Holscher's hands went up immediately. But
unless he was over to ask about the 5.
yes.
But he's got the discussion now. Everybody, it sounds like, except for the timekeeper.
Illegal cross check. Looks like it's the call. That's the signal that we got from the floor, our official.
I don't think the Elora fans agree.
I don't think they agree at all.
4-on-4 for a minute 5, pending other penalties, as Dirksen looked like he had a little bit of trouble with that one. Thought he had it in the stick as it rolled down and nearly out of the crease. 4-on-4 for 50 seconds now. As Saskatchewan set up, a lot of room out there. Shot clock is running. Down to 10 seconds of sidearm. Past Noah Lebar. That tall body, it's got to be hard for Kells to see past it, but Lebar doing a nice job helping his goaltender out. As Harrison now back the other way. Harrison looks to the crease. The quick stick chance, but and it bounced off the stick of Mitch Taylor. As now Dirksen looking for an outlet.
I got to say, I love the look that Elora has, not just their equipment, but most of the guys have the blonde, long hair going for the playoffs. The high socks, I know that's a big Elora Mohawk tradition, those socks with the black and yellow stripes.
Power play now, so the shot clock held here as the Saskatchewan player faces a double team in the corner. Elora had jarred the ball free and they continued through on the push. So it's called here interference, now directing traffic on the far side. Looks like Matt Wist, who spins around the first check. AJ Skirving makes contact, ball comes free. Wist goes down as he got tied up, no call. Looked back at the official though, Francis. We'll leave it at the bench as the offensive unit comes out here. 15 seconds remaining in the power play. Woodland with top spot. Goes down to set a pick in the middle, the shot low and scores in behind Eric Dirksen.
once again, this Elora team starting to regain that momentum. We've seen so many times throughout this tournament this power play be so deadly, and it's almost the same play every time. Woodland this time, usually he draws a lot of men and attention to the middle, which then allows other options on the far side of the floor, but this time he's able to get that pass right away and quick sticks it in.
It was a battle at the draw there between Wist and Ryan Buller. Eventually Buller stepping in the circle. Pardon me, Wist, I guess, stepping in the circle. Oh, Dirksen, the bouncer in front, he had already gone down and had to throw the left hand up to make the catch. As we played 9 minutes here in the second period. All Elora so far, at least on the goal side of things, as they put 3 in the net. Not handled cleanly by Jeff Roy. Then he was taken down trying to chase after it, so possession given back here to the Saskatchewan SWAT. Jack Dunn out of the corner.
Beautiful feed from Dunn to get that into a tight space of the stick of Ethan Kennedy.
Out of the corner, a stutter step stop. Shot, shoulder save by Dirksen. I'm not sure that Britannic could touch it because he had gone through the crease. Lower player taken down. This time they allow play to continue. A lot of picks being thrown in the front as they end up going to the right side of the floor in a strip just as Cole Spear was about getting ready to take that shot.
Nice cause turnover by Preston Woodkey to get the ball out of the stick of the ever so dangerous Cole Spear.
Woodkey in front of his own bench. Taken down here is Dryden Quinn. Ball came out and they want to restart it back near center as Elora was looking for the fast break. They'll now allow Rahanic to start the play. Woodland in the middle. Two Elora players collide with each other on the near side. I think forced by one of the Saskatchewan players' pick.
God, Woodland is just absolutely disgusting with those hands and feet.
This loose ball bounces all the way back into Saskatchewan's zone. They've only got 5 in their shot clock. So you expect a dump here from Jack Dunn, but pressure from Elora, seeing if they can get good floor position out of it. They can't, as it's shoveled into the zone, and Kells will hang on. We await our water break here with 9 minutes left. In what's turned into a fast-paced second period, a good first as well, as both defenses really dug in. 2-2 after 1, and now 3 straight for Elora coming out of the rooms as they look to draw a clean sheet here in the pool side of things. Elora 16-8 on the first day. Yesterday 17-8 against Manitoba. In good position heading here into the final day of pool competition. Saskatchewan dropped their opening match 10-9 to Manitoba, and then yesterday 15-6 against the Medicine. Men has them at a -13 in goal differential.
Really looking forward to that primetime game tonight, Medicine Men and Manitoba.
Yeah, get the abacus ready, because like we said, one goal, one way or the other. They are separated by about 7 goals in goal differential, but the tiebreaker's head-to-head.
Yes.
Which we did clear up the first tiebreaker. Obviously points, and then if you're tied head-to-head record. So with those two having a chance to go 2-1 in that pool, along with Calgary, who gets Coquitlam this afternoon. Or pardon me, sorry. Medicine Men and Manitoba is the 8 o'clock match, sorry. they would both be at 2-1. So win and you're in our primetime match, regardless of the goal differential.
The goal differential could come into effect if Saskatchewan ended up winning this game here.
If they win this game, or Manitoba win by exactly 7.
Yeah.
But then we would go down to the goal formula because points and head-to-head record would be the same. And for that, we're going to have to do a lot of more math that I know I can't figure out.
Don't look at me, buddy. Don't look at me.
What's Stamper doing beside you there?
Not math. I'll tell you that for free.
Elora player not allowed to reach into the crease to grab that, so we're going to take a goaltender water break. I'm not sure if they did call crease violation there to stop it, as it looked like Clayton Holscher was there. As we said, and we've been saying all tournament long, the Founders Cup free here on the JVI Sports Network YouTube channel, thanks to some of our great sponsors, including Sullivan Construction, a longtime company, over 100 years. Sullivan Construction supporting the JVI Sports Network and the Founders Cup Committee here, helping us bring these free broadcasts to you. So we thank the Sullivan Construction Group.
And Sullivan, actually, that construction group was the company that revitalized the new stadium in Queens, in Kingston, Ontario, Queen's University. It's a gorgeous stadium. Actually, Stephen Stamp and myself called the Vacates Cup tournament last year in that absolutely stunning facility.
So our thanks to Sullivan for that and for this tournament as well. That was the very first thing pretty much that the organizing committee here said after watching our work in Orangeville 2 years ago, was they didn't want pay-per-view broadcasts. They wanted to make sure that it was free and they'd take care of sponsors and everything else. So Goigale Mitchell and Laurie Gardner, shout out to those two, the organizing committee here. Rusty Dockstader and Bonnie Rouet from the CLA committee.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shot by Josh Rex. He's got 2 now, if I'm not mistaken, here in the game.
That's his hat trick, actually, Matt.
Well, where was I for the first one?
Yeah, Rex. I talked about already. It's been an unbelievable breakout tournament for him. You know, a depth piece on that right-hand side. You know, during the regular season, only 15 goals in 18 games, which is still solid, don't get me wrong. But he's got about 6 goals here already in the tournament. Maybe one of those big-time players that come out when his teams needed it the most.
Yeah, big game, guys. The NHL trade deadline acquisition that nobody talks about until Game 7.
Yeah, big tourney for J-Rax, no doubt about that.
Big tourney Rex.
Like it. I like it.
Here's AJ Skirving. Passes down to the crease. A number of moves there for Rahanic. But the big upper body of Dirksen, we mentioned that, I think you did in the first period, the bigger body. That's what helped him out there as he gets the shoulder on it. And Woodland tries a sidearm shot from up top. Woodland grabbing his own rebound, walks to the crease, and that one off the SWAT logo on the chest of Dirksen.
Penalty coming up.
It'll be another illegal cross check as Clayton Holscher looks heavenward.
The officials coming into this tournament said they were going to watch a few things, and I think the 2 penalties that they were going to watch the most were the off-ball slashes and the illegal cross checks, and that's what we've seen a lot here so far, not just in the tournament, but especially in this game here today.
On replay, it looked like it was right in the numbers as well. So,
I mean,
it wasn't a big, heavy cross check, but it was in the spot where they don't like it seen.
Exactly.
Elora fans don't like it. Don't like a few of the ones before that. Close to going back in the crease for Elora, but the official's standing right there. I believe that's Cam Anderson, the BC ref, taking trail position here on this run down the floor.
Oh, how did he not get yard sailed there? Unbelievable.
My eyes were on the tie-up on the crease, Matt Wist.
Brett Harrison got slashed. The stick literally did a full somersault in the air, and he still was able to catch it right in his hands.
Hand-eye coordination at its finest there. As the catch from the corner walking out, and that one hits the overhang. Comes back down as Wist was worked over by, I think that was Rex the entire time, another Mohawk player coming in to say something. As the SWAT will set up on the power play now, 35 seconds left. Elora defender gets a stick on it and a 2-on nobody. Here short-handed for Elora. Badaway recognizing that, and they want to push quickly up to Grayson Kwan. And now all four are back as the SWAT can't organize it in time. They're going to have 15 on their shot clock by the time they get this set up, and only 10 left in their power play. It's played here for Quinn. Jeffroy to the corner for Nolting. We're back 5-on-5. Player rejoining the fray now as that shot off the shoulder of Kells. Mason Noble the rebound. Goes to the front door where it's brought back in. Here's Woodland on the run. His shot, Dirksen not sure where the rebound was. It was in his feet. As now the defender comes in to help him. Less than 3 minutes to play, second period.
It seemed at some points during this tournament, every time Curtis Woodland take a shot at going the back of the net. Here today, got a few assists, but just the ball not sinking for him. One of those days.
This is the first 11 o'clock game for Elora in the tournament. They had the 8:30 and the 2 coming in. The second early start for Saskatchewan as they played 11 a.m. on the first day and 5 p.m. yesterday. It's one thing I think the schedule organizers, whoever it was, did a decent job at was mixing up the times. There's nobody really playing. Even the medicine men are kind of all over the place. Down on the floor is Tyrus Rahanic. And a number of whistles afterwards.
I think the officials are going to discuss this here. Matt, we have a little break here, you mentioned the scheduling. I was actually talking to the ref-in-chief, Bruce Patton. He said that there's actually a formula that the CLA uses for these 8-man tournaments, and they punch them in, and it actually puts in all the times, and that's how they were able to figure that one out.
No penalty on the play as Rahanic went down. On our look, there was a bit of a swipe of the stick.
Yeah, no, I definitely would have to agree.
I didn't think it was a lot. Rahanic did go down. As Kells made the save and couldn't control the rebound. Has to recover, wide open cage. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
What a save on the second rebound. We saw a late one in the first period from Dirksen, and now we see one from Kells here late in the second.
Founders Cup, come for the goals, stay for the saves.
Stay for the saves. Not sure what that call was, either a push-off or perhaps a chin strap. As Elora bringing it back in. On the crease, turning, firing, but in the crease was Tyrus Rahanic, who good to see back out there.
Good to see him back out there, and we'll have a chance to hear from him as Steven Stamp will head down to the floor at the end of the second period to talk to the Brock Badger. Bat away. Another goal for him. What a tournament he's having.
Badaway, our player to watch, will get the SWAT's third goal of the game, the first goal of the period so far.
That's 7 points for him, 6 on the tournament. And I mentioned it, such an unorthodox player when he cradles the ball, bashes and crashes around, has a weird release. But as I said yesterday on our broadcast, they don't draw pictures on the score sheet. Doesn't matter how they go in, as long as it finds the back of the net.
Depends what's the game's like. I used to draw pictures. So 6-3 now. As the SWAT, man, we talked about it before. They just don't go away.
The pesky SWAT, I called them on the broadcast yesterday.
That is as accurate a term as I think you've come up with. I like it better than Electric Factory, I've got to say.
Okay,
I
fair
know
enough.
that's one of your key phrases. As Kells comes out, look out here, and Kells, bit of a little hip check that Wish tried to spin around. Good thing he caught that. Kells, I mean, as that was close. Heads up our official in the corner as that went right off the shoulder of Dirks, and this will turn the shot clock off as we're under 10 seconds. Use a Capia spin move, now a long attempt. 3 on the clock, and I'm not sure that Elora will get another one as they were about to close in, but it'll be 6-3. 4 goals in a row from the Elora Mohawks. SWAT get one back late, but that's pretty much all they could muster. And I think while we wait for Steven Stamp, we'll get a chance to check that Kells save out, because it was a thing of beauty.
I'll see it right here. Just a little bit of a miss grab and a huge chicken wing. And does he get a piece on that one there, or does it just miss wide?
No, that might have been stick. Hold, let's see if we can.
Well, the official calls a reset, so I think it does hit the stick there.
Either stick or post. I'm not entirely sure which one.
Regardless, a highlight reel stop with the first save.
We're waiting for Steven Stamp to pick up his interview. Looks like he has done so now, so let's send it down to the floor. Steven Stamp.
Down on the floor with Tyrus Rahanic, and it works out appropriately. I'm wearing a Kufla shirt today. You're a Brock Badger, so that works out pretty well. But today you've got a Saskatchewan team that's pretty fired up to try and come and get a win. And you guys, you don't seem quite as fired up yourselves maybe. Was it hard to get motivated for a game when you know you have first place clinched in the division?
I think it was more of the 11 a.m. game. Some of our guys aren't used to playing this early since midget, so I think that. Also, Saskatchewan team's playing really well. They're coming out hungry, trying to prove people wrong, trying to prove that maybe they're not at the bottom of the barrel here. Trying to try to get a win under the belt. So I think it's a bit of both, but yeah.
You seem to get a little more spark in that period. Was there anything in particular your coaches said in the first intermission that got you going a bit?
Yeah, they said they're not going to be nice anymore, and your performance on the floor is going to say if you're going to play next game or not. So a bunch of the guys were fired up, ready to go, and I mean we put up a better period that period, but it's still not to our standards. So.
Yeah, next game's a big one. You've got a semifinal coming up. I was wondering for you guys also, I know it's an adjustment playing on carpet. You spend the whole summer playing on concrete. And for you, I know coming off, some folks were saying you're coming off a bit of a knee tweak, and carpets are tough on knees. Was it a bit of a challenge for you and the rest of the team?
For me, not really. For the team, a little bit. We're not used to playing. There's only one arena that we play in, which is Six Nations that has carpet. But also the floor is a little bit bigger than what we're used to playing on. This is kind of it's a bit wider, a bit longer. So a few adjustments the first game, but other than that, we've been fine with it.
What do you want to do in the third period to get ready? Because again, the next game tomorrow for sure is very important. You have a semifinal against a team that's going to be hungry to face you as you all go for a gold medal.
Yeah, I feel like tomorrow and the rest of today, we just got to come out hungry, have killer instinct. Doesn't matter what the score is, it doesn't matter the team we're playing. We always just got to play our best, and we know our best. We beat some of the best teams out there, like Six Nations and Clarington. Those were huge wins. So we know we can do it. We just got to show it, and tomorrow's going to be a big one. It's going to be maybe a little bit of a wake-up call because we're going to play, a much better team than what we've had so far. But I think we're up to the task, and we'll be fine.
You've certainly gone through a gauntlet, going through Wallaceburg, then Six Nations, and then Clarington, just to get to this tournament.
Yeah, it was a tough 3 rounds. Game 4, Game 5, Game 4, and that Game 5 in Six Nations where we won by 1 was a huge task. So I think we've faced a lot of adversity and we're ready for a moment like this. So I think we'll be fine the next 2 days.
Appreciate your time. Congratulations so far, and good luck as you go forward. That was Tyrus Rahanek of the Elora Mohawks. We'll take a break and be back with the third period in a few minutes.
Welcome back to the Anolago Arena here on Cornwall Island. Day number 3, the final day of pool competition, and this is how the teams stacked up heading in. We are focused on Group A right now. The Elora Mohawks, the Saskatchewan SWAT, easy for me to say in English, are as far apart as you can get through 2 games, plus 17 and a minus 13. Unfortunately for Saskatchewan, the Elora Mohawks were one of the favorites coming in, however, and the Saskatchewan SWAT were about where people expected them to be. The Mohawk Medicine Men, the Manitoba Blizzard, take the floor at 8 p.m. Group B, the Shamrocks, Seneca, and Coquitlam, all with a chance to move on. The North Shore Kodiaks a chance to play spoiler. As we now transition into the rest of the schedule, you can see coming up next that big game in Group B. The Calgary Shamrocks, the Coquitlam Adenacks. Adenacks with work to do. Shamrocks with that massive overtime win yesterday against the Seneca War Chiefs, who face North Shore. So you can kind of bet that Seneca are going to take that. Although North Shore have been improving pretty much game by game here in the tournament.
You know what? North Shore actually talking to their coaching staff and management group. They are pretty confident once they get to that Tier 2 championship that they're going to be able to compete with whether it be the Saskatchewan SWAT, Manitoba, or even the Medicine Men. They're confident that they might be able to, at least come out with a win in this tournament.
Well, that's what I've been saying the whole time. Like, there are, I think coming in there were clear-cut favorites in Elora, Seneca. Seneca, we really haven't seen the Seneca we thought we were going to see. Saskatchewan has improved, has performed above expectations. Calgary, that big win that messed everything up last night. Saskatchewan has even been better, like we said, still hanging on here.
I think that Calgary Shamrocks team was a team of mystery.
There's always one of them, is there not?
Where you hear a little bit of hype. They win the RMLL championship. You don't know too much about them. They have some good players, but you just don't know what they're going to do at the tournament. I think you're right. I think they have been a nice story, and I think they can do some damage the rest of the way. That shot just whizzed by, I should say.
A couple of years ago, I feel, as Badaway takes the shot, and Kells caught on his knees, sliding through the crease as it sneaks past. My goodness, talk about not going away. Shamrocks again now trail by only 2.
Here's that Patton and Badaway fade away with the underhand shot, bringing his goal total up for the tournament up to number 8.
At the end of the tournament, there will be tournament awards, including a first and second team all-star. I think Badaway is making a pretty good case, if not for the second team, even perhaps the first team all-star team, despite being on what coming into day 2 is an 0-2 team, maybe 0-3 through round robin.
And Talon Badaway is no slouch. 43 goals, 42 assists in 85 games and 20 games played with Welland this past season. So might come as a surprise because too many people don't know the name unless you follow the West Division, the same division this Elora Mohawks team plays in the OJBLL.
Now Jack Francis goes down at the hands of Ethan Kennedy. Official was there, Yuzukapi chasing this loose ball down. But it's going to be Clayton Holscher who gets there first.
261 points in his career. That is Badaway.
Goodness. Holscher from his wrong side takes the shot outside the net. It bounces up into the safety screening, and Saskatchewan SWAT will take over. Now trailing by 2. For the majority of the second period, all the goals were from Elora as they got 4 straight after we were tied 2-2 in the opening period. Kells has to reach over a pair of Saskatchewan defenders. There was another one who had fell in the corner. So that results in a fairly one-sided odd man rush for the Elora Mohawks, and they make no mistake.
No mistake here. Off a little bit of a broken play, but no harm done, as you see just 4 white jerseys streaking onto the floor. The attention's grabbed to the right side, and another quick stick goal from this Mohawks team as Mason Noble's the one who puts this one home.
Mason Noble, really great defense in this tournament.
Yes.
Showed some transition chops a couple times, does it there as well. Kind of reminds you of a pair of Nobles we saw a few years ago.
Yes.
From the Orangeville area. Disagreement over that face-off call, and Wist looks like he might have one of those hooked heads on the stick like we saw before. This might be too many men against Saskatchewan. It'll be a late slash actually, as Dawson Garvey came off and had a whack. So Saskatchewan looks to be a little frustrated here, at least in that last about 4 or 5 second span off the face-off. I'm not entirely sure why. They're one of the tournament favorites. They're within 3 goals.
They have been getting frustrated with the face-offs. And one thing is Bo Columbus, the known face-off player for this Mohawks team, is actually a healthy scratch today, getting a rest. So it's been the second unit that's been giving Matt Wist and the face-off ball team of Saskatchewan some trouble.
And when Bo Columbus is out there, it's almost no contest.
It's been ridiculous how good he's been.
Big scramble looking for this, and it ends up going over the line as Saskatchewan had touched it just out of the reach of Grayson Kwan. So with Dawson Garvey in the box, that over and back call is in effect. 3 minutes gone here in our third period. Already 1 goal aside after we went quite a while in the first and second without seeing a mark. Another big loose ball scrum just to the right of Dirksen. Elora player looks like his chin strap is loose as he got up and got into the fray. No penalty or possession call. And lowering the shoulder, Preston Woodkey runs through and then hammered down. An extra shot while he was on the floor is going to send the Elora player to the box, but that was a spicy couple seconds on that shift down in the offensive zone.
And that was Clayton Holscher, a big body, the captain of this Elora Mohawks club, and he goes flying as Preston Woodkey rolls through, but he pops up and Holscher throws a huge blow back to Woodkey, but it's that extra slash, that extra hit on the ground that's going to cause him 2 minutes in the penalty box.
We saw Jeffroy go off, kind of holding the chin area. Hurry up call given here to Ethan Kennedy as we're now 4-on-4 for 43 seconds. At which point Saskatchewan will go to the power play. Jeffroy walked to the bench, took his helmet off and sat down and hunched over on the bench. He's now talking with the trainer. We'll try and keep an eye on him. 25 seconds left, 4-on-4. 3-goal lead for Elora. Woodland around a double pick, the shot off a body in front. And I believe this is Dylan Lavoie corralling the loose ball, and he'll give to Badaway out the front door. Badaway to Kennedy. It is a power play now for 1 minute and 9 seconds. Shot clock down to 6 seconds here for Badaway. As he goes up top, shot through traffic, Garvey, and Kells makes the save. They have one breaking out to Elora. Kells decides to go to the front door instead of down the floor. And a bit tough handling it. There was Brett Harrison. Harrison spins, turns the corner, takes the shot, and scores. Official thought about it there for a second as he looked close to the crease. Have to get another look here ourselves, but
goal number 2 for Harrison. We saw him get a 5-on-5 goal with a shot from the outside. This time he shows his blistering speed. Nice little fake. Sometimes on the crease, players get away with throwing a couple of too many, but when you have that good one hard fake and throw it to the other side, that's all that you need.
It was the second step with the right foot that I was concerned about. Definitely in, as off this face-off, we're going to get a collision. And a penalty call. The Saskatchewan drawman still hasn't got to his feet. Now does very slowly. So it looks like Grayson Kwan.
And again, the Mohawk faithful here at the Turtle Dome, not pleased with that call, as it's going to be a 5-minute penalty.
Yeah, I think on our replay that was pretty obvious as he comes in wing high and straight into the face mask.
Yeah, maybe we should show these Elora fans that replay because it's tough to argue after seeing that one.
Not sure the argument is maybe more with that, but a few calls they've thought throughout the game haven't gone their way. Triangle defense now as Saskatchewan looks like they're going to send all 5 in the power play as now the top man, Garvey, backs away. 25 seconds remaining in the initial penalty. Golden chance here for the SWAT as that one just bounces wide of the left foot of Kells. Garvey came in looking for the hit, and that allows, Skirving to walk in. Skirving's shot saved by Dirksen as a rebound rolls into the corner. Garvey will recover as the SWAT make a change, and Skirving applauded for his efforts by the Elora faithful as he heads off. 5-on-4 now, as the only penalty on the board is that major. I think that's our first major penalty of the tournament, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you may be right. Got to rotate here, and they don't.
Dryden Quinn's low shot on a bounce. Gets through the legs of Kells, and my goodness, like we've been saying for a couple days now, pesky SWAT keep it at 3 goals. Yeah, nobody picks up Quinn here.
Yeah, that's the thing there. So they lose their shape. Once one person rotates on that box and tries to shift into the diamond, if everyone else doesn't, then the shift is completely all for nothing. And like you said, the crease man just kind of stays there, holds his pipe instead of shifting up, and that gives him a clear shot to the net.
And if there is a hole in the Elora game, that might be it on their penalty kill. We've seen it a couple times here in the tournament. Ryan Buller taking down, fighting for the face-off loose ball, and taken down in the Elora zone. So they'll get, well, 3:45 left on that major. Shot clock turns off here, and they put the big boys on to see how much they can rag out. I believe this is Woodland up top. Double team coming. They've got 3 high defenders to Saskatchewan. Now Yuzakapi spying Spear. Yuzakapi, a big slash into the back, and Yuzakapi's going to go as both officials put their arms in the air. That's one of those ones that here in the tournament was discussed as not a play on the ball, as it was clearly right in the back. And that'll do it for the power play. Although 3:16 left in the major, they will get it back.
Yep.
But 4-on-4, the Elora Mohawks have been absolutely insane here in this tournament.
Yeah, 4-on-4, you give so much space for the man with the ball right now to work with. Good luck.
Spear spins and fires. That one well past Dirksen. We're trying to figure something out on the bench here. Saskatchewan player trying to leave the bench actually climbed over the back glass to walk down the tunnel.
Oh, Saskatchewan.
The visitors,
like that call.
the visitors' dressing room, as the Saskatchewan player stands over the ball, the Elora player didn't like that, as Jeff Roy, good to see him back out there, goes head-to-head with Kevin Hutchison, albeit briefly, as Hutchison has now exited the floor. 8-5, so it's Dryden Quinn, who, whatever the issue was, is now climbing back over the glass to get back on the bench.
Nearly gave his coach a heart attack there as he stomped down.
I think the only door...
It is. The only door is right on the floor, so you have to gain access on the field, which...
Get onto the floor and then come back off the floor. And the visiting dressing room is on the opposite side here at the Turtle Dome. The Medicine Men last night, when they were the visitors, took the dressing room that's on this side right underneath our broadcast position.
Now, Matt, I actually do believe that the dressing rooms are all around, and each team has been assigned a room for the entire week. So
actually, we were told they didn't have enough.
Okay.
I think there's only 6 out of the 8 teams. So they were kind of assigning them here or there as it went along.
Oh! Unreal chance there.
And a good save from Dirksen. So in addition to travel, border, accommodations, eating arrangements, you're also hauling all your gear around with you, which is, I mean, not ideal, but we keep going back to the fact that there was 6 weeks to put this together for Goigale and his team.
Well, what I mean, are they supposed to just build some dressing rooms in here? There's really not much else you can do, right?
All the way up top for Matt Wist. He'll just hang on as Yuzakapi steps out of the box, and there will be 1:14 left on the Saskatchewan power play. And it is that major penalty. They've got 1 gone from the major. So a goal here would mean all the way up to a dead ball before that player comes back. Ball down as Skirving nearly broke away with it. Flipped over the head of Wist, and now 50 seconds. The Mohawks can kill the rest of this penalty off as we're about to hit the halfway mark of the period. Fans who have made the trip, what's that, about 6 hours, 6.5, 7 perhaps, from Elora here to Cornwall Island in Akwesasne. A lot of Elora faithful watching back at home as they have the entire tournament. And now some have made the trip down to support the boys. The hands coming together and making noise for the final 15 seconds here of this penalty kill. It's our player to watch, Rahanic, right now, who does pass it to Josh Rex, he of the hat trick. Big Turney Rex, we called him earlier on, as Woodland steps out of the players' bench. The penalty has expired. We're back to 5-on-5 as Woodland chases it down again. And interference against Saskatchewan, and that will take us to our water break.
A much-deserved water break for the big man, number 29, Eric Dirksen, in between the pipes. Holding this Elora team to 8 goals is mightily impressive.
And keeping his team in it right now, down only by 4. Our thanks once again to Sullivan, the construction group, as you said, responsible for, I think you said Queens, is that correct?
Yes, yeah, built Queens, their stadium. The name is for, I'm forgetting the name of the stadium, but it's a beautiful football stadium. I believe they use it for soccer as well and lacrosse.
And helping us and the Founders Cup organization here as well, we thank Sullivan Construction for their support as a tournament sponsor here this week in Akwesasne. Elora continues play as they end up coughing it up here to Saskatchewan. Jeff Roy off the bench. He'll find Badaway along the boards. And mishandled just inside the over and back line by Jack Dunn. That's going to result in a breakaway for Jonah White, who goes in, and Dirksen there to make the save as Dunn followed through on his check into the end boards, and that was too much in the eyes of the official. So it hands the ball back here to Elora. Number of moves from Britannic. Britannic taken down, and he's still down. He's not getting up, Britannic. That was I don't know, looked like not much of a collision, but he has not moved here as the trainer comes out.
Seems to be holding his face. Hopefully he didn't.
Oh. Let's take a look on the replay here as I got the first look. Watch the chin area as he comes down. And we'll see it just bump. And we saw one of the, I think it was a Manitoba player, dealing with the rug burn yesterday and on the legs and the knee. Couldn't even get up after he scored the goal. But you get it in a sensitive spot like the face or the chin, and perhaps a little leakage there as well.
Yeah, and
if the bounce of the chin didn't do even more damage, we're just assuming that's what it is.
Yeah, or just smacking your head against this turf. Yeah, you know what? There's a little bit of cushion with the turf, but there's still a concrete floor underneath here. And I mean, funny it's not funny with him down, but you mentioned that turf burn. Well, Tyrus Rohanic's mom came over here to the booth after that game, and we were talking with her, and she was mentioning the turf burn from Poitras's knees. She was saying, "Did you guys get that shot there? How banged up his knees were?" And it's true. The turf is great. It's great on the joints, but there's nothing worse than falling on your knees on this turf and getting up and feeling that turf burn.
So Rahanic is up, and they've got a towel, looks like on his forehead. So I wonder if when he came down, the helmet came back.
I think that's what it is.
And there's a cut. And we know how much a cut there tends to look worse than it really is. So let's hope that's the case for Tyrus Rahanic, our player to watch here today.
Matt, you asked about the drive from Elora, Ontario to Akwesasne on Cornwall Island. Right now with no traffic, 5 hours and 42 minutes.
Oh, wow. So why did my drive from Oakville take 5 hours?
That's because Gary was driving.
He shakes his head, yes. Our producer, main camera operator, Gary Morrison. Saskatchewan looking to pass that into the corner, and it went errant. Still, nobody wanting control. There's going to be a hold here. There has to be, as a tug on the back of the jersey. I think somehow the only official that saw it was the lead.
Yeah.
It's the correct call, but it's a little odd. To see how that works out, but Cam Anderson does make the correct holding call. Quite the tug on the jersey as he ran down the far side there.
You know, the way that AJ Skirving's been moving up the floor, the only way to stop him has been hauling him down.
We look across to the far side, and one of the teams over there making their way in, I believe it's Alberta, as they head close to the, it could be Coquitlam actually. Looked like they were headed for the home dressing room. That's our game coming up at 2 p.m. 12 noon for those of you in Alberta, 11 o'clock out on the west coast.
That's the Shamrocks there, it looks like.
Calgary Shamrocks are arriving, and as you said before, it'll be interesting to see how they come out of the chutes after that emotional game. Not just the overtime. That got kicked up pretty much right when they came out of the gates in the third period. Both two teams, the Seneca Nation and Calgary Shamrocks, were amped. And it carried all through the extra frame last night. Many are saying some of the best junior lacrosse they've ever seen. at any level. And I sat through 5 games of, Brampton and Mimico last year as well, which was just incredible lacrosse. Officials are going to discuss who this ball went off of before it went up and over top of the Saskatchewan bench. And it will be awarded to the Elora Mohawks. With 1 minute exactly remaining on their power play. Woodland has it up top. He backs away, takes a couple of defenders with it. Whoa, that tips off the defender's stick on the crease and bounced. It looked awkward from this angle, but probably harmless from the eyes of Dirksen as he didn't make any move whatsoever. Cole Spear with it now. His shot bounces all the way up towards the timekeeper's box, and a tie up there is the stick. Ended up tied up somehow in the helmet of the Elora player on the far side. So under 7 minutes left to go. 8-5 for Elora. As we heard in the first intermission interview, this 11 o'clock start is pretty foreign to them. Many of them not doing that since midget.
Oh, wow.
This is the second 11 o'clock game from Saskatchewan. You were looking for yard sale earlier. Caden Ludwig rewards you with the helicopter stick check.
What an unbelievable hustle play from Curtis Woodland. He's had so many highlight reel goals and assists. That might be his best play of the tournament yet.
Lead pass here, still trying to shovel it towards and shovel it close to the crease, and we get the crease violation there as Jack Dunn slams his stick against the end boards in disgust. One thing I'm noticing with the Saskatchewan team too, they just seem to be undersized, especially when you put them up against the Elora Mohawks. Not sure of the ages, but with a junior A club also in Saskatchewan, I would imagine they've got mostly younger guys.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's what they're trying to establish here with this SWAT organization. Have your younger players play junior B for a couple of years, and then when they're ready, they can move up to junior A. And that's, with some of the players here, Gray Eyes, I believe, is a first year. Mathieu Wist as well. Jordan Boyanko, who didn't make the trip, he's another first year player who was a standout with this team as well.
And that's going to mean bigger and better things for their A club ultimately. But having some of these guys, Saskatchewan SWAT nearly making it to the Minto Cup, which is hosted by Calgary. They just last year assumed it was going to be Okotoks Calgary, which is the way it did work out in the end. But a bit of a scare from the SWAT organization, which now, if that trend continues, they do have players coming through the system with a national championship under their belts. National championship trip and experience.
Yes.
It may end up being 0-3 in pool play, and we'll see what happens tomorrow for Saskatchewan, but they're here and they've got the experience nonetheless. And right now, they're within 3 goals of one of the very heavily favored tournament teams in the Ontario champions, the Elora Mohawks, who, as you said, didn't have an easy trip to get here either. As this errant pass bounces off the boards and comes straight out to Elora, racing the floor and scoring. I think that's Dean Seeley.
Be number 21, Ryan Bowler, bowling his way up the floor. And just about every single player on the floor comes out greeting him. Anytime you see a defensive player scoring in transition, you love to see it. And he has to go out and get his face-off stick. As we mentioned, Bo Columbus, the number 1 draw guy, out right now getting a rest. So no rest for number 21 as he has to get back out there and take that face.
Let us see if we get a break here. We can get another look at that goal because it developed so long up the floor on the errant pass that went across the floor. And you said the reaction from the teammates congratulating Buller on that goal. The fans, when his name was announced, giving him a salute as well. A bouncer doesn't hit anything before it goes up and out of play. 9-5 in favor of Elora. Every time they've been able to pull away a little bit from Saskatchewan here. Same with that Manitoba game. The SWAT have answered back. So we'll see if that's the case in the next 3.5 minutes. As a spin by Dunn, and he's tugged onto and falls. And as Kells makes the save, we'll get a holding call here. Against Elora.
Matt, quickly while we have a little break here, I did forget to mention when you were talking about the SWAT, getting some experience. Well, they do have a chance to get some experience. Not the whole team, but Liam Debell, Lane Hruska, who was the Rookie of the Year, one of the top goalies in the RMLL, and Zach Gould, all are joining the Junior A Mounties, playing for that SWAT team. So an experience for them to grow as individuals, and I'm sure that will help the SWAT going forward.
We just saw a look at that Buller goal. As you were mentioning some of the SWAT players, that will go to the Minto Cup. So congratulations and credit to them, and I want to wish all the teams out there, Coquitlam Adirondacks, the Calgary Mountaineers, the Okotoks Raiders, and the Brampton Excelsiors, best of luck in the Minto Cup, which gets underway a couple days, I think. Has it started, Patty?
I think it starts today. If today's Thursday, I'm losing track of the days here.
I don't know. It's day number 3 at the Founders. That's what I know.
I think it starts up today, if I am correct, which is not too often.
2.5 minutes left here. That's what we do know. 9-5 the score in favor of Elora, who looks like they are going to go clean sheet here through the first round and lock up first place in Group A, which, if that's the case, would mean that they would play second place in Pool B at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And with a loss for Saskatchewan, they'd end up in 4th place in Pool A, playing 3rd place in Pool B at 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Correct.
So if you're watching and wondering how that schedule shakes down, Saskatchewan looks like they will be at 2 o'clock Eastern time, so noon hour for those of you out in Saskatchewan, against 3rd place in the crossover pool. And Elora will get the 5 o'clock local game against 2nd place in the crossover pool. 18 seconds remaining on the holding penalty to Elora here. 1:37 left in regulation time as we're standing by for Coquitlam Adirondacks and Calgary Shamrocks about an hour after the conclusion of this game. Scheduled for a 2 o'clock local time start, 12:57 right now. In the arena, stare down over in the corner as official Trent Bray gets in between those two players. Still talking, and now finally shoved apart by the ref as we're about to hit the final minute of play with Matt Wist. Jogging this ball into the corner, spins around and turns into a big hit as now Gray Eyes with it. His shot is a bouncer that hits off the shoulder of Kells. Into the corner, Gray Eyes dancing around. Gray Eyes trying to find Badaway, can't. Gray Eyes stepped in the crease and gets shoved out as Kells regains possession. Seneca North Shore coming up at 5. And the big one in terms of the rest of this group, our primetime match at 8 p.m. local time. So for those of you in Saskatchewan, that's 6 p.m. Manitoba, it will be 7 p.m. as they face the host team, the Mohawk Medicine Men, to put a cap on pool play here at the 2018 Founders Cup. 20 seconds remaining in regulation here. As the Elora Mohawks actually lead 9-5. They had a big hit in along the boards as the ball was down. I think we're Thought we were just going to get minor interference, but it looks like Noah Lebar is headed off. A lot of extra words happening here in front as now Badaway steps in front of Dylan Lavoie. And Mason Noble will back down. Dawson Garvey, meanwhile, sneaking in behind. Offsetting minor penalties here is Noah Lebar goes off, as does Grayson Kwan. Saskatchewan has it for the final 17 seconds. Off the corner, Kells is down, but the shot attempt was intercepted there by Mason Noble. And Noble out of the corner, picks it up. He'll draw a penalty. It'll be a slash against Saskatchewan with 0.8 left on the clock. This thing's really heating up here at the end of this game.
Never want to see a team take a bunch of penalties here, but it is good to see Saskatchewan still has some fire in their belly, despite this game really not meaning anything in the standings.
It does mean that Elora, who had almost certainly wrapped up first place, does wrap up first place in Group A. Again, that means that they will play at 5 p.m. tomorrow against second place in Pool B, which will be determined between Seneca, Calgary, and Coquitlam, with Calgary and Coquitlam taking to the floor in about an hour's time. And Saskatchewan finishing fourth in Pool A. They'll get the 2 o'clock game tomorrow against third place in Pool B. Again, that'll be one of the Calgary, Seneca, Coquitlam teams as well in the crossover game. Saskatchewan still with a chance to play for the Tier 2 championship.
Yep. Yeah, their weekend's not over. Let's not forget about that.
Everybody guaranteed 4 games. The bottom 2 teams, the losers of the 11 and 2 o'clock game tomorrow, will go home. The winners returning at 11 on Saturday to play for the Tier 2 championship. The gold medal game comes your way Saturday, 5 o'clock Eastern time from here at the Onolagoa Arena.
So
on JVI Sports Network.
Sorry, I was going to mention Elora finishing with 42 goals for 21 against, so a plus 21. I know it doesn't matter for any tiebreakers, but when you can finish plus 21 in a
3-game tournament,
pretty impressive.
Looks like Dirksen named player of the game as Rusty Dockstader hands out the player of the game awards, and big tournament Rex, Josh Rex, the hat trick here today on a way to a 9-5 Elora Mohawks victory.
Matt, you know what? You got to tip your cap, though, to this SWAT team. So pesky. They never gave up. And like you mentioned, they have to keep in mind their day is done, I should say, but their tournament is not. They still have a chance to go for that Tier 2 championship, and I think that's a way that they can use as a strong building block heading towards the future.
And whoever they play tomorrow, whether it be Calgary or Coquitlam, probably, with Seneca facing North Shore, the only other team with 1-1 in that bracket, those teams are going to be upset that they didn't get in.
Yeah.
And Saskatchewan's still playing for something, so don't count them out as we go in.
Absolutely not.
To tomorrow's tournament play. That'll wrap us up here from our 11 o'clock game. On behalf of my partner, Pat Gregoire, our host and interviewer, Stephen Stamp, producer and director, Gary Morrison, I'm Matthew Carrick for the rest of the JVI Sports Network crew. Thanks for tuning in for day number 3 of the 2018 Founders Cup. We'll be back 55 minutes for Coquitlam versus the Calgary Shamrocks.